In this video, we're given the demand function, the marginal cost function, and we need to figure out how many units a monopolist is going to produce when they can't price discriminate. So that really means single price monopolist, okay? Or the monopoly has to pick a single price, which is going to be their profit maximizing price, which is going to be where their marginal cost, which is 20, equals their marginal revenue. So we don't initially see the marginal revenue curve. So we have a couple ways we could do this. One, we could say, okay, that demand function is linear and it's got a slope of 1. So we could say that the inverse demand function for that is 140, which is the reservation price, minus Q, okay, which is the quantity down there when it's free. And then we could calculate marginal revenue by really just taking twice the slope. But we could also take the partial derivative with respect to Q of the total revenue function. So if I multiply 140 Q, if I multiply everything in the inverse demand function by quantity, I end up with total revenue function, and then partial derivative with respect to Q of that gives us this marginal revenue function. So if I were to draw that right on here, it's going to hit the x-axis at 1/2 the point at which the demand curve did. So that's going to be like 70. Okay, so we'll put a point right there. We're going to draw a line best that we can. Right about there. I'll just make the dot bigger. There we go. We got that right at 70. Okay. Now, we could also solve. So if we want to know what this point is, you could solve MC equals MR. So that would be 20 equals 140 minus 2Q. And you would eventually get 60. But I actually know that that's 60 because this point has to be twice whatever this point is. So I know where that is. Okay. Then I want to mark up the price to get our profit maximizing price. So all I'm going to do for this is I'm going to plug in 60 back into the initial demand function. Okay, so plug in 60 here, and that tells me that the price is 80. Okay, so now I've got my monopoly price, which is 80, my monopoly quantity, which is 60. I drew that nice marginal revenue function on the graph. It says assume no recurring fixed costs, so like this is also equal to our average total cost then. How much profit does the monopolist make? So it's going to be the area of this right here. Okay, so it's the per unit profit. So we got per unit profit of 60, because that's 80 down to 20, and then on 60 units. So 60 times 60 would be 360. And then how much consumer surplus is generated? Consumer surplus is going to be up here. It's the difference between the demand curve and the price that they're being charged, or that they're paying, I suppose. So this would be consumer surplus. And that's going to be a triangle. So that's right there, consumer surplus. And it's linear, so we say 1/2 and $60 times, or this doesn't have to be in dollars, could be in rupees, times 60. So it's 360, and then half of that is 180 rupees, and that is the consumer surplus. And that's how to find profit maximizing quantity and output and price when we just have the demand curve visually, how to model that.